And good afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and call this session of the City of Issaquah Hearing Examiner to order. For the record, today is January 14th of 2021. Still getting used to saying that at 2 p.m. And we have one item on the agenda today. This is number FP 20-00001. And we're here for a public meeting related to a request for approval of a final plat related to the subdivision of a 13.1 acre property into 34 single-family residential lots with associated improvements at 21403 Southeast 43rd Way. This would be the final plat for the Valor Point project. My name is Andrew Reeves. I'm a hearing examiner with Sound Law Center, who the city has selected to hold certain hearings like this one. And today it'll be my job to collect evidence in the form of exhibits and testimony and comment to determine whether the final plat complies with the specific requirements for final plat approval under section 18.13.200 of the city's municipal code, and specifically the focus being on ensuring that the final plat has complied and is consistent with the requirements for approval that were conditioned in the preliminary plat, as well as complying with our state subdivision act, which is in chapter 5817 of the revised code of Washington. To that end, I received 14 exhibits as well as a staff report in advance of the hearing today that I had an opportunity to review. These included, like I said, a staff report, as well as the original plat decision that was made by my colleague, Ted Hunter, back in October of 2017, and then information about what has occurred in terms of implementing the preliminary plat, as well as information about the notice that went out for today's public meeting, and then I believe 2 comments that were received by interested members of the public. So I'll go ahead and admit those 14 exhibits into the record, and if it's okay with everyone, I will make the staff report exhibit 15. Does that make sense, Valerie?
Yes.
Okay, and so I have included those and reviewed them, and essentially the plan is I will have our staff members of staff present an overview, any thoughts they wanted to share or things I should be aware of related to this final plat. Then we'll turn it to our applicant to see if there's any additional information they would like to provide. And then it is a public meeting. If there are members of the public that join, we'll give them an opportunity to comment. It's always a little unclear for public meetings whether I need to swear anyone in or not, but just to be safe, I'll at least swear staff in. And if there's any comments, I'll turn it back to staff and our applicant to respond to any public comments. So that'll be the order we follow. Thanks everyone for being here, and we'll get Valerie Porter sworn in. Ms. Porter, do you swear affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
Yes.
I do. Okay, thank you. You're good. No, you're good. You're good to go. So now I will cede the floor to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Gonna pull up a PowerPoint. Can you let me know if you're able to see my screen?
I am seeing it fine. And is this something you'd like to make an exhibit as well, Ms. Porter?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Okay. Demonstrative only, as we say.
Demonstrative. Okay, so we're here to talk about Valor Point. My name is Valerie Porter, and I'm associate planner here with the city. The applicant making this request is Steve Bernstead Construction. So for context, this project is located on east side of Southeast 43rd Way and East Lake Sammamish Parkway Southeast within the Providence Point subarea. The parcel is zoned multifamily high, where single-family residential is allowed per the Issaquah Municipal Code. And the designated land use for this parcel is multifamily residential. The subject parcel, as previously stated, is 13.1 acres in size. The applicant has requested to subdivide the lot into 34 single-family lots, which is in addition to constructing internal roads and utility infrastructure, which are all going to be privately owned. The project is also responsible for constructing frontage improvements, which includes adding landscaping, lighting, and a turn pocket to Southeast 43rd Way. The pedestrian walkway along the length of the parcel has been designated or has been designed to King County standards and will be part of the King County Trail System, but this area will be maintained by the city of Issaquah. The development will also provide guest parking and a play structure for residents. For background, the preliminary plat was approved on October 16, 2017 with conditions. Public notices for the final plat were distributed in accordance with the Issaquah Municipal Code. The notice of applications were sent out on March 20th, 2020 to adjacent property owners within 300 feet. One comment letter was received and has been included in the staff report and is Exhibit 13. Hearing notices were sent out in the mail on December 31st, 2020, and a notice was posted in the Seattle Times newspaper on December 30th. As previously stated, an affidavit of publication was not available when the staff report was finalized, but a copy has been provided prior to this meeting. In addition to the mailing in the newspaper notice, the applicant posted a property sign on the parcel on December 22nd, 2020. As a result, one public comment letter was received after the notices were sent out, and a copy has been provided to the hearing examiner prior to today's meeting. So modifications were made to the preliminary plat prior to the 2017 hearing. Initially, the applicant proposed to place 5 lots within the existing King County easement, which is located on the north side of the parcel. Prior to the hearing, the plans were switched out with new plans showing the lots located outside of the King County easement. The image to the left shows the first proposal, and the image to the right shows the plan that the hearing examiner approved in 2017. Because the applicant and King County were still discussing design alternatives, when the preliminary plat hearing occurred, the hearing examiner requested the parties come to a mutually agreed upon design after the meeting. A resolution was anticipated to occur after the hearing examiner decision, which is why condition number 25 in the hearing examiner's decision discusses possible alternatives, in addition to stating, if the parties fail to agree, King County shall submit a report to the hearing examiner. The hearing examiner may decide to reopen the hearing if necessary. After the hearing, a 3-party agreement was established between the applicant, King County, and the city. All parties agreed that King County would reduce the easement from 50 feet wide to 30 feet in exchange for the applicant constructing a multi-use trail the length of the property along Southeast 43rd Way as part of the Plat's frontage improvements. And once constructed, the city would maintain. Due to the easement size changing, the lots to the north of the parcel were reconfigured. This led to 8 lots increasing in size and 1 lot decreasing in size, but no more than 10%. The new layout complies with city code. Most of the conditions of approval have been met. The outstanding conditions will be met by future permitting and actions. Staff recommends approval of the final plat with standard conditions. Are there any questions?
Great. Thank you, Ms. Porter. Can you go back 2 slides to that overview? That'll work. So just so I conceptually understand, if I'm looking at the preliminary plat image on the left of my screen, that's a 50-foot right-of-way up at the top. And that was agreed upon, is it 35 or 30?
It's 30, but I don't believe it's right-of-way. I think it's possibly an trail or access easement.
Okay, sorry for the language. I just was trying to understand conceptually. So it did reduce in size, but then to compensate, if I understand right, 34th is that diagonal.
Yes, right here.
So,
I'm not sure if you can see my cursor. Okay.
And so there was an agreement that we sort of shrink the size of the trail up here, but then also the applicant would contribute to installing right-of-way or trail, however we're going to call it, along 34th. Am I understanding that accurately?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. That was the big question I had. And then you had an opportunity to review what we have deemed Exhibit 14, which was the additional comment that came in.
Yes.
Did staff have any thoughts they wanted to provide on that? This would be the opportunity. I think it mostly had to do with a concern about traffic and safety, if I read that right. But
Correct. I do not have anything, but I will defer to Doug Schlepp, who's the planner or the engineer on the project.
okay, so why don't we then turn to Mr. Schlepp and we can see if he had any thoughts he wanted to share.
So we did.
And Doug, just to be safe, I'll swear you in. Do you swear for him to tell the truth in the testimony you give here today?
I do.
Nice
And I
to see you.
apologize for my late arrival. I was having trouble getting logged in for some reason.
No issue at all, Mr. Schlepp. Go ahead.
So the concerns that Valerie and I reviewed were with respect to traffic, in particular overall traffic, which this particular project has addressed its traffic concerns through an approved traffic impact analysis, resulting in the frontage improvements that have been designed, permitted, and constructed. Additionally, there were questions or concerns raised about drainage. It would appear on a more of a global level as it relates to this particular project. And when I say global, I mean along East Lake Sammamish Parkway as it extends southerly into the city. This project has been designed, permitted, and approved and constructed in accordance with the city's stormwater standards. So it complies with city codes in that respect. The concerns raised, I believe, are a result of other considerations unrelated to this project.
Okay, so then in your view, Mr. Schlepp, through the preliminary plat process, complying with all the conditions, et cetera, the final plat would meet all city requirements related to traffic and stormwater and other engineering considerations?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, do you have anything else you wanted to share, Mr. Schlepp?
No, thank you.
Great, thank you for being here. And then I do see Lucy Sloman is in attendance. I don't know if Lucy had anything she wanted to share, but I'll just check in with her just in case. Ms. Sloman, did you have any thoughts you wanted to share?
I'm just backup.
You cut off, sorry.
I'm just here as backup.
Oh, you're back. Ms. Porter
I have nothing to add unless staff needs me to. They're doing a fabulous job.
Excellent. I concur. I didn't have anything specific for you, but thank you for checking in and being here. So I don't have any further questions. Again, with these final plats, I think Issaquah is one of actually the last few jurisdictions I work in that involves a public meeting. It's administrative in most jurisdictions, but it's been thoroughly addressed with the staff report and the demonstrative PowerPoint that Ms. Porter prepared for us. So I'll turn it over to our applicant and Leo. I assume this is Leo Suver. Did I get that right? Okay, thank you. And I'll swear you in just to be safe. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in any testimony you give here today?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Suver, this is your opportunity to provide any additional information you feel I should be aware of.
I think Valerie did a great job with her presentation. I have nothing more to add.
Okay, and so there's sort of, I think it's 4 standard conditions that Issaquah recommends for final plats. You've seen those and don't see any issue complying with those?
Correct.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I know it's straightforward, and which is a joy sometimes. And these hearings are a lot more complicated. But I see no issue with this particular final plat, and so my office will produce a decision approving this final plat here in the next couple of weeks. And I think then we can conclude our meeting today. So thank you, everybody. Nice to see everybody. It does not appear any members of the public have shown up or they would show up somewhere on my screen. So I think we're all set. And Lucy, did you have one more thing?
Well, I just didn't know if we should check with Candy to make sure she doesn't see any citizens have shown up. I agree with you. I don't see anyone, but WebEx is not something I use as often.
Well,
Lucy, you are correct. There is no other individuals that joined up.
okay. Well, then, I think we can conclude our public meeting. So I thank everyone for taking the time and being here. And I hope everyone is safe and healthy and has a great 2021 moving forward. I'm sure I'll see many of you again in the near future. But Mr. Suber, good luck with the proposal. And with that, we'll go ahead and end today's meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, Andrew.
Thanks. You too.